All right, so this video might be a little bit different, but I was asked the question recently, why did I go all in on the GoHighLevel SaaS marketing agency structure? And it's a really good question considering previously before that I was doing 100% high ticket essentially, right? That was the main driver of our business. That is what we did. Then I completely flipped the switch a few years ago where we basically stopped doing everything and transitioned 100% into this monthly recurring low ticket monthly recurring revenue model. And honestly, I would never ever look back, not in a million years. Now, I'm going to start this off by saying it's not necessarily because of the business structure itself. It's more so because of the lifestyle that I wanted to lead. And there's so much content out there about the hustle culture, right? Working 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and working all hours and always grinding and trying to reach that next level constantly. And honestly, it was never really me. I wasn't interested in the Hormozy style business of getting to $100 million. It didn't ever interest me. I wanted to live a life. I like to travel, right? I like to travel in the winters, get some sun. I'm originally from Scotland, so I like to get some sunshine in the winters where I'm a lot more creative. I use the travel time to be creative. And in the summers, I get stuff done. I do a lot of work. But honestly, I'm not working 12 hours per day. I will wake up about 7 in the morning. I'll get showered, get ready and such. And then I'll go for a hike with my two dogs. I've got two dogs. There's a huge white one. You might see them on the profile somewhere. There's a huge white one and there's a black one. And they're big dogs, and we go for hikes every single morning, literally every day, as much as we possibly can. And that's how I start my day. So I'm not really home from hiking, and we're hiking this beautiful cliff top. It's incredible, right on the beach, and you're about maybe like 80 feet in the air, and you're hiking along the sea, the North Sea, and it's beautiful, right? It makes me start my day in a really fresh way, and it invigorates me, it energizes me, and I won't get back until maybe like lunchtime or so, and then I'll get some lunch, and then I'll maybe do like 5-6 hours of work until about 6 or 7 p.m. And then I'll either go and play golf because I like to play golf, or if I'm not feeling that, I'll go see one of our horses. That is basically my daily schedule, right? That's what I like to do. It isn't hustle bro culture, right? And then I go to sleep like at 10 p.m. Nothing crazy. It isn't hustle bro culture, but every piece of content that you see out there, it focuses on that crazy work, hard grind sort of structures, and that's not really how I ever wanted to live my life. And every business model out there, it usually incorporates the same structures, right? They want you to hustle constantly and try and get clients. Well, listen, I didn't really want sales calls. I like to travel quite a lot. I like to spend my winters in 6 weeks, 8 weeks in France. I go skiing in Georgia. I like to travel basically everywhere throughout the year. So if I was on sales calls all the time, I couldn't do that, right? And I've done it before. I did it, and I was in a position when I was in high ticket where I remember a trip to Newfoundland on the east coast of Canada, and we'd be out exploring during the day because of a bit of a time difference. And then about 1 o'clock hit, and I'd have to be back from 1 till about 7 or 8 p.m., sometimes later, on sales calls all the time. And I remember at times where I was in Latvia, actually, and the time difference was quite extreme from Eastern Standard Time, and I was taking calls in Eastern Standard Time. So at 10 p.m., midnight, at 1 a.m., whatever the case was, I was on calls. I had to be up on my trip on calls. And as much as it's a luxury that I could do that, of course, that's not what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to travel without issues. I wanted to have a situation where I could bring in new clients without actually having to take sales calls. And no one had ever really cracked that code. So when I saw the opportunity when GoHighLevel released the SaaS mode, this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago or so, when they first released it, all the way up until to this day, I realized that I don't want that lifestyle, right? I don't want the life where I'm location dependent. I didn't get out the corporate space to sit in front of a laptop every day, right? That's not what I do it for. I do it because I want to travel. I do it because I want to go to these crazy places. I want to spend 2 weeks in February skiing in Georgia in the wild mountains. I want these crazy experiences, right? And I want that to be my life. I want to have the ability to go for sunshine in the south of France and rent out, a house in the south of France and spend 6 to 8 weeks there in the winter. And then I want to come back in the summer and enjoy my summer at home. And then in the winter I'll travel again. So I wanted that balance. I wanted to live that life. That was the life that I dreamt of. And I wanted to have the ability to spend the day how I wanted to spend it as well. Basically not having an alarm clock. Waking up whenever and getting my work done. But in the fashion that I wanted to get it done. Like I wanted to have that structure. So that's why we decided that we're going to flip the entire business model on its head. That's why we focused on, and it wasn't easy by any means, it really wasn't. But I wanted to make this point because everything you see out there, it focuses on that hustle culture, and it doesn't have to be like that. You know, it really doesn't. They're either you've got a guy in a hammock on a beach chilling out, working laptop lifestyle, or on the other side you've got the guy that's working crazy hours with hustle grind tattooed on his arm. Right, that's the two extremities, and unfortunately, extremities sell. That's why you see this all the time. You know, you're scrolling Instagram, you're seeing this constantly. This crazy extreme lifestyle. But the reality is, it doesn't have to be like that. You just have to have your vision in place, and instead of just following what everybody tells you to do, go against that curve. You know, if you want to create a business model that is structured around how you want to live, then you have to pick the right business model. And that's why I went all in on the SaaS, because I could see the vision. I knew it wasn't going to be scaling as fast as a high ticket space because the numbers are smaller, but over time that builds up and up and up and up. And that's why you see so many of the high ticket guys, the guys that focused and specialized only in high ticket, and that's what they did. That's why you see them creating new offers every 6 months, because the high ticket markets are getting tighter and tighter and tighter. The economy is shifting, right? And it's not the same as it was. So they're popping up, they're disappearing, and they're popping back up again in 6 months' time with a brand new offer, this crazy, exciting offer for $10,000, and then trying to sell that. And the cycle happens over and over and over again because the fresh offer will sell. But as soon as they run out of that top low-hanging fruit traffic, essentially, they die off. Whereas when you flip to this monthly recurring revenue model, yes, you won't have those extreme highs, right? You're not going to have, you instantly have people paying you $10,000. That's not how it works. It's a build-up. And you consistently work at it over and over and over again. And as that builds up, it becomes very sticky because of the way you've structured it. Now, when you structure it properly, your churn rate is going to be really low. So you've got these automatic payments coming in every month. You don't really have to do much fulfillment. You don't really need to be there all the time. You can set up your client acquisition on autopilot. So those clients are coming in, they're purchasing, they're subscribing essentially to your subscription plan, all automatically without a sales call. And then they are essentially fulfilling for themselves because it's all pre-built on the platform. Now, let's say you get to the $10,000 mark, for example. Our typical churn rates are about 5%. Now, that means after 12 months, if I acquired 0 clients, like didn't get a single client more for an entire year, I would still have about $5,000 per month coming in automatically in month number 13. So I could go a year without signing new clients and still have that level of income. Now that multiplies as you scale. That grows because you've built the foundation, right? If you don't build the foundation properly, the way that we structure it, you're not going to have that same reality. It's not a reward just for sticking around. It's the reward for building out the system properly. So that's basically why we went all in on the SaaS market, right? Because we know that number one, we want to build the lifestyle, right? We want that lifestyle. I don't really care about Lamborghinis or anything like that. It's not really my style. I don't care about a $100 million company. I care about doing what I want when I want to do it. I want to wake up when I want. I want to spend my day doing what I want to do. I want to spend time with my dogs and play sports and go on trips and have the ability to just disappear for 2 months in the winter for some sunshine, or ski in crazy destinations, actually snowboard, but in crazy destinations, right? Like Georgia, if you've never seen the Republic of Georgia and the GoHighLevel Mountains, it's insane. Have a look at that. I really recommend it. But that's the reality, is I can be out of service essentially in this insane mountain range in the Caucasus Mountains, where barely few people actually venture. It's a much, there's no lift lines, but not to digress off the point here. Nobody else is really there in the same scale as they are in France or in Italy or Austria. It's different. So I can be out of service and still the business runs. It still allows me to build up and acquire new clients without me actually being there. That's why I did it. Yes, it's a harder path. Yes, it takes longer, but you've got happier customers. You can over-deliver for your customers consistently. You can acquire clients on autopilot without you having to take sales calls. And as that builds up, it builds up like a snowball. So it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And then once you get to that point, you don't really move. You're not starting from scratch every month, right? It starts from where you left it last month, minus 5% churn. And as long as you acquire 5% growth every month, you stay the same. If you beat 5%, you grow. It's not hard to beat 5% growth, right? So the numbers are stacked in your favor. The secret to this model, though, is patience. You have to have the patience to avoid all the noise in social media, to realize that this hustle culture is the fastest way to burn out. And I tell you that because I've done it. I've been there. You have to realize that just because everybody on social media, if it's Instagram, TikTok, even on YouTube, when everyone on social media is showing you this lifestyle, if that doesn't fit you, then if you're an outlier like me, then that's not the way it has to be. You can do it the different way. You can have the different priorities. You can have the different goals. You just have to implement the structures that allow you to have that lifestyle. It is possible. You just have to implement the right structure. So the reality is this video was to give you a little bit of insight. So raw, it's unedited. It's just basically me in a vlogging style to the camera with an interesting question I was asked. Why did we go all in on this model? And that's why. Because it's not about the business model. The business model will get us there. And as it has done, the secret is it matches the lifestyle that we want to live. It allows us to travel. It allows us to live the daily life that we want to live. It allows us to acquire clients automatically without sales calls. And it allows me to over-deliver to happy clients, which reduces my stress levels, makes me happier and nicer person to be around, and it gives me a better overall quality of life. So this is a message that might not be the same as everybody else. It probably goes against the curve because it's not as clickbait as a Lamborghini or going to a helicopter for dinner or something like that. But this is messages for the person out there that feels like the outlier, the person that doesn't really want that. They want the ability to have freedom and have control over their life, and they want the stability. They're willing to work at it. They're willing to have the patience to build because they don't want the volatility. But they're not sure about which business model to go for or which structure in the agency or in the marketing space to work on. I would highly recommend the SAAS Marketing Agency space if you resonate with this message, because it will deliver that lifestyle, right? That's what it's geared to do. It's geared to be more passive, not completely passive, nothing ever is, but this is as passive as we have ever been. I've got stories on my channel from when I was in Banff National Park, and we had the typical agency model. I'd just taken over a client account from this other agency that had let the client down basically, and the client was pretty intense, and the agency had basically got his Facebook ad account banned, and it was up to me, even though that wasn't part of our contract. It was nothing to do with me whatsoever. I was just helping out to help out, really. They wanted the ad account fixed, or they wanted help with it, so I was trying to help them. I was very limited into what I could do, as obviously if you've run Facebook ads before you probably know this, but you're very limited as to what you can do. So I was on this tour of Johnson Canyon, it was called, in Banff National Park, and it was one of those guided tours with about 30-40 people on it, and I was with the family, my fiance and such, and the dogs, and they were on the tour. We're all on the tour and we're walking along, and I'm hanging back. I'm on the phone with this client trying to sort out this issue that wasn't even my problem. And this was a once in a lifetime. I'm from Scotland originally. This is a once in a lifetime type of tour in Canada. It's something that is, you know, the market material, everything is about Banff. Everything is wrapped around that, and you really want to go. It's a dream. So I was finally there, and I couldn't even enjoy it because I was dealing with someone else's problem that I didn't even cause. And that was essentially the breaking point. From that point onwards, I really didn't feel as if this is the lifestyle, the type of business I wanted to create. I wanted to create one that matched the lifestyle I was looking for. So, moral of the story, it doesn't have to be the way that you see on social media. You can build the life that you're looking for. If you're an outlier like me, if you want something slightly different and this message resonates with you, you can build a business that will build the dream life. You just have to make sure you build the foundation and that you stay consistent, you block out the noise, and you keep on going. If you like videos like this, if you want more information on how to start your SaaS marketing agency, have a look at the rest of the videos on my channel. I dive into it in detail, showing you everything. Basically, it's a documentation of how I build it myself. Check it out, and I'll see you on the other side.